I'm sure everyone's had the moment in their life when they've hated the amount of control that anyone's boss has had over them. They've restructured their lives, they've changed their plans, all to just help their boss out or help sickness, issues like these. It's a good thing to do, and it really can help out your employer and put you in the good books of your boss, which is always nice to have a good relationship with them. But how small did it make you feel when you put their needs over yours? You changed your plans with your friends, with your family, the things that you've been planning for many weeks, many months even. It doesn't seem right. What can we do about this? So I've thought about this, and particularly to do with work anyway. I'm going to go over a few ways in which anyone, normal people, we're not talking billionaires or millionaires or people that don't need the job to begin with, can reasonably reduce the amount of control that an employer has over your life, in a way that is in a reasonable way. So it's all about to do with increasing flexibility. The first of which is something I never thought I'd be mentioning, but is basically just saving up a bunch of money so that you don't have the reliance on the job. People call it an emergency fund. So worst case scenario, if you had to leave this job and you had enough and you were sick of all these things happening to you, what you could do is you could save up 2 grand, 10 grand, whatever you feel, right? A reasonable amount of money that would allow you to feel safe, give you a bit more freedom with your decisions, with what you make. You can tell your job to go fuck himself if you really want. That's a bit ballsy, but yeah. So obviously, what does this do? It basically allows you to make better choices, I think, based on yourself. You can stretch the boundaries of what your boss actually has as their limit, which gives you a bit more freedom. The next thing I've got on this list is to have 2 jobs. I'm not talking about full-time jobs unless you're like I don't know, some crazy person that can work all the jobs. But yeah, we're talking about this is for normal people. 2 part-time jobs, right? One of them contracted, one of them sessional. This only really works if you can get regular work with your sessional work, which is difficult to do. But the reason why I'm vouching for this is because this is something that I've actually done myself. I found it a lot better for a number of reasons. One, you're not reliant on one source of income from any of these jobs. You've got 2, and worse, like when one message you about, you can ask the other for extra hours, and they both know that they're there. They will both have to work around each other, which means you give them a set availability, and they basically have to work around that. The reason why this is good, particularly why I'm mentioning this to do with flexibility, is if you have two jobs, then like you're like you can quite easily tell them no, because they should understand if you have another job, and 2, like you could just leave, like you could just leave if you have another job. You don't need all these jobs to keep going, especially if your expenses are really low. But yeah, it gives you a bit more freedom to do what you want. And the third thing I've got here on this list is basically a method I call take it or leave it. So this approach basically focuses on, if you're the least needy person in the conversation, then you're more likely to win. Right, example. When's the boss win? When's your boss, like when your boss asks you for something, right? And you need this job, you need the money. That's fine. Everyone has their needs. You got family, you got, bills to pay. You got to you take care of your cat. Like, it's fine. The thing I'm saying is, in that scenario where you need the money, they have leverage over you. They know they have power over you, and they'll press those buttons. They'll use that leverage, in order to get what they want. And the take it or leave it approach is basically, you basically are quick to leave a job. You're quick to say you're going to hand in your notice. The amount of times the employers have changed their tune because people have said they're going to hand in their notice, you'd be surprised. It makes employers have to make a lot of changes to accommodate for you not being there, extra hours for everyone, no holidays for everyone, and they have to fill in hours, a whole load of extra training for a new person to replace you. There's lots of things like that. So this is where you make your employer become the needy one. And so if you don't get what you want, then you tell them, well, that's not really going to fit in with what I'm wanting. You're not blackmailing them. You're telling them that this is not what I want, and that will make me want to put in my notice. It's a reasonable thing to do. So maybe it sounds a bit dark. You're putting it on its in a negative spin, like, oh, you're blackmailing them. You're holding this against them. I don't really feel like it's that negative when you think about it. Like, you're telling them what your needs are, and like, you're just telling them that if they don't respect your needs, then you're basically gonna go. That's just a healthy boundary that people can set with their employers. And the other thing I forgot to mention was, if you, especially as I was talking about, like, normal people, just everyday people that don't have any special job, maybe you didn't go to uni, and you've just got like minimum wage job here in the UK. These sort of jobs are not unattainable. Any person, no matter how unskilled you are, can go and get a different one of these jobs. These jobs constantly are on a loop of people leaving and new people joining because they get tired of their boss and they move on to something else. They're not a commitment. They're not a commitment that you've made to the company, to your bosses, anyone. I reckon you probably don't even have a written contract. Like, that's how little tying you are to the company. You'll have signed a bit of paperwork when you first started. It doesn't tie you to them at all. The reason why I mention this is, in the kind of take it or leave it approach that I mentioned earlier, one of the main weapons that you have is it's leaving, which sounds like, oh, I'm gonna lose, the friends, the family. I'm comfy here. I can appreciate that. It's difficult, but if you're between a rock and a hard place, then you've got to choose one. If you're not happy in the job with the decisions that your employer is making you choose, then this is one way that you can free yourself from that, which is basically not valuing the job as highly as you are, given its actual value. I've done this countless times in the last 8 years of working similar kind of jobs. Anytime that I've ever felt that I'm not enjoying the work, everyone's had that I'm dreading work kind of feeling. Anytime I get that kind of feeling, within a couple months I leave. and maybe everyone can't like leave straight away. And I can appreciate that. But within a couple of months, anyone can find another job to fill in, especially fill in for this, like the money that you'd lose. Especially if, like I'm saying, if you have two jobs, you're only accounting for half of the income that you would have had. You still have the other one, and the new job that you would get would just have to fit around the old job that you still have, the one that you didn't leave. I don't know, it's just a different way of framing things for people. Just, I don't know, I hear so many people just so unhappy in the same work, and they never really, excuse me, just had my tea. They never really move on to anything else. And I think it's a real shame because they're not just valuing themselves and figuring that there's better things to be doing. Like life's too short to be like going to like work that you hate and like just drags you down, like stress levels, or oh god, honestly, I don't know. Like I'd rather just be happy, like somewhere that I actually am. If you have to go and make some money, then you at least have some fun doing it and feel like you're progressing in life, rather than just hating every moment of it. You don't, I mean, as far as I know, you've only got one life, so I'm hoping that everybody lives it the best way that they can. Yeah. I think that's about all I get to say about that. As Forrest Gump said. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope you got something out of it. If you do have any questions, then leave it in the comments below. Like the video if you found any value in it. Get involved.